Hey guys. Yeah, so Luke chapter 1, 26 to 38 is obviously about when Mary is visited by Gabriel. But the thing that really touched me was when you read the whole chapter in one go, chapter 1, that story is placed right after the one about Zachariah, which is when he also sees an angel, and the angel also tells him he's going to have a son. And the structure is exactly the same for Mary's as well, and they're clearly written to be contrasted. But it's so cool because although they're put as the same, they're totally different. So you have Zachariah, who is a man. He's old-ish. He's a priest, and he's about to enter. He's just drawn a lot to enter into God's presence and burn incense. So, like, those things give him like high status and privilege, and he's expecting to go into God's presence. Yet the angel appears to him, and he doesn't believe what the angel tells him. And Mary, on the other hand, is a young girl from a village in the middle of nowhere, and she's not planning to enter the presence of God. Yet the angel appears before her, and she believes him. And I think it's just God's beautiful way of reaffirming that what he cares about is our hearts. And although it still says Zechariah was a righteous man, it clearly annoyed. Did I just spit in the camera? Sorry. It clearly annoyed Angel Gabriel. Like, if you read it, it says, "I'm Gabriel. I stand in the presence of God, and you don't believe me? You're going to go mute for months." But Mary believed, and she had a childlike faith, and which is so beautiful to the Lord. And we know that it's impossible to please God without faith, and he delights those who trust in his unfailing love. And faith and trust are so interwoven, and I think the reason God delights in it when we have faith in him is because we trust him, and it affirms his character. It's like us saying, "I know who you are, God. This is who you are, and you are trustworthy." And that's just such a beautiful thing that Mary did, and Zechariah couldn't do, although he'd lived a life of righteousness. He saw the angel and he couldn't trust. I don't know why, but God sees our hearts, and it delighted him to choose Mary, even though she was a young woman who had no status, in the middle of nowhere, who wasn't expecting to hear from God. And the last point it makes me think of is that man looks on the outside, but God looks on the heart. And Jesus, the Messiah, was famed as the descendant of David, and obviously David was chosen by Samuel. And in quite a similar way, when Samuel went to choose the next king of Israel, all of Jesse's sons were out in line for him to choose one, and Samuel didn't choose David to start with because he looked on the outside and he saw all the handsome, strong young men and said, "Surely this is the new king." But it wasn't, because God looks on the heart, and Mary's heart was beautiful, and Zachariah's was too, but he didn't have that trust in God. So yeah, I hope that's encouraging, guys. Love you all.